right, today I'm going to make a little elevator system. This button calls the elevator, but it's already here. So we'll just get in. We'll press this button. There we go. Enjoying some good elevator music. And of course, if you hit it again, you'll go down. Let's go ahead and call the elevator just so you see how that works. So if the elevator's not on the floor that you are, you press the button, it's going to come to you. There we go. And then the doors will stay open in a default position, so you don't get locked in the elevator. Cool beans. Let's go ahead and get a fresh world and get started with that. All right, so here's my fresh world. I'm going to build the elevator in the center of the base plate. That's where my spawn location is, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. And then I'm going to add a part to the world. Boom. Let's take a look at it. Let's go ahead and center that part. So we need to go to position, 0, 0.5, and 0. That'll put it in the center of the base plate. All right, let's make it bigger. We'll say 12 by 1 by 12. Collisions are off, so I can duplicate in place. I'm going to hit a Control D. You can right click and do that too. You'll see a duplicate option on your menu. There we go. We'll make a wall here. Cool. Control D to duplicate. Make another one. Control D to duplicate again. I'm doing the floor on this one because I want it to line up with the floor. One more. There we go. Cool. And we need two little walls here, and the doors are going to be in the front too, right? So Control D, pull this up. I'm going to scale this in. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to make that a clean 3. So go over to the size here, and you might have some decimal points after your 3 on the X. There you go. All righty. I'm going to hit another Control D to duplicate that one more time. And there. And now I need a roof, so I'm going to duplicate my floor, Control D, move that up. And let's move these parts in. So turn collisions on, bump it in the floor, bump it towards the elevator. And same with this one. I'm going to actually move this one that way. Cool. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3. I'm not going to make it perfect because we have a time constraint, right? Being a video and all. There we go. And then just move this in. Cool. And let's see if we can scale it with collisions on. We can't. When you bump parts up against, sometimes you got to turn collisions off to scale it. There we go. Nice. My collisions are still off. I'll just go ahead and push this in just in case we have any problems. That will work. All right, so now let's make some doors. And I'm not going to duplicate parts because I want to know the front. So this is going to be a door. I want to know where the front is. Put a decal on. It is facing me. All right, so that's good. The front should be facing you as you're looking at the elevator, or the code's not going to be exactly, you're going to have to mess with the code a little bit to get the orientation of the doors. All right, cool. We can get rid of that decal. We just need to know, if you look at your decal face, it'll say front. That's the default, right? So if it moves around, you'll have to change that too, but we were good. Let's change the size of our door. Let's go to, this is the X. So I'll make it 3 by, I don't know, it's 12, right? 3 by 12. We can make it 11. We can make it a little smaller. And then 0.25. We'll make it thin. All right, let's move that up. I am going to turn collisions on so I can bump it. There we go. Bump it in there. I want this to be centered in this part because when it opens, I want it to slide inside the wall. So it looks like it's going inside. So I'll just do that. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead. Well, collisions are still on. I might just center that. Move that this direction. Turn collisions off. Control D again. Move that over here. All right, now I'm going to get my roof. And I'm going to pull my roof out. I'll hit scale. There. Good enough. Same with the floor. Good. I know it's not perfect, but that's fine. All right. Now, this is the center line of the world. That's why I use the 0 and 0 and the X and the Z. That way, we can just kind of move this towards the center. I'm going to put a slight crack because it is a door, an elevator door. You want to be able to see it. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get all of our parts. Select them all. I just click that one and then shift click the bottom. I'm going to make them metal. Marble's cool too. There we go, metal. And I'm going to anchor them. Nice. All right, now the doors, these are the two on the bottom, right? You can just click on them too. We got them. I'm going to make those lighter. So I'm going to go to color, if I can find it. Oh, it's up at the top. And then just hit white. Nice. All right. So let's name some of these parts. We're going to need our floor because that's going to be our primary part. So let's name that floor. And then just the doors. Those are the only two you really need to name. So this is going to be the left door. So as I'm looking at it, right? And then this is going to be the right door. There. And let's make this a model. So select all the parts, right click, group. I'm going to call this cabin. Yeah, not bad. All right, I need a button too, right? So let's make some walls for the buttons. There we go, there's a part. That's going to become a wall. I'm going to turn collisions on so it doesn't go through the floor. And we'll make that maybe 10 on the X. The elevator's 12 studs high. I wanted to go 25 studs up. So what's that? 37? I think that's right. And then thickness, we could just make 2. Nice. All right, we can move that to the elevator. And I want the elevator sunken in a little bit, but these doors are going to open this way and go through the parts. So we don't want to see the doors. So you want to be able to hide those. There we go. Let's turn collisions off, hit a Control D to duplicate that wall, move this over, collisions on, bump it up against. Nice. All right, let's make our buttons now. So go ahead and get a cylinder, and then we'll rotate it. And let's change the size, maybe 0.2 by 1 by 1. Don't make it too small or your mobile users aren't going to be able to touch it. And the position, let's move the position up on the Y. So that's the middle value. If you're not familiar with that, to 5. There we go. And collisions are on, so I can bump this against the wall. It's kind of hard to see. Let's change the color. Green. There we go. And what else? Let's make another button. We can't forget to anchor those two. So I'm going to turn collisions off. Control D, and then I'm going to move this one up. Remember, the elevator wants to move, I want the elevator to move 25 studs. So if we move this 30, then that second button is going to be on the second floor. Cool. And now we want an interior button. So I'll do Control D. There we go. And move that inside. I'll turn collisions on so I can feel the wall when I touch it. There we go. There we go. Looking good. It's not quite centered. There. That's better. Nice. Now let's get all of those parts and anchor them. Boom. Cool. Now on those buttons, we probably should have done this before we started duplicating them. Let's go ahead and name them and put click detectors on them. Well, naming them we didn't want to do first, but we'll say outside 1 button. That's the 1 is for the first floor. All right, then we'll add a click detector. Let's go to the next one. there, this one up here, that is outside 2 button. And click detector. And then our last one, it's inside. That's the inside button. Inside BTN. BTN short for button. Click detector. All right. Now let's get those buttons. So these walls could be outside of the elevator system. Let's make an elevator system. So on cabin, I'm going to click it again. I'm going to hit group, and that's going to encase that into another model. We'll call this elevator. All right. You can call it elevator system if you want. If you want to get, if you don't get, you might get confused. So the outside button, outside 1 and outside 2, will go in the elevator. The inside button goes in the cabin, right? Because everything in the cabin is going to move up and down. You want the button to move with you. All right, I think that's good. And we did anchor those, right? Inside button, anchored. Nice. Now, oh, let's put a platform too so we can step out on the platform. That won't take but a second. I'll just go ahead and put a block here and I'll anchor it. Position. 0 on the X. We'll make it 0.5 on the Y and then 25. Let's do 25.5. Oh, on the Y, let's make it 25.5. And then the Z, I don't know. Let's make it 10, see where we're at. We'll have to move the Z. Let's change the size. Then we'll know. Let's make that, 36? And 0.5 and 10. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, let's move that in. We have our collisions on. Bump that up. Oh, I should have made that wall 34. Or the platform 34. Let me do that. 34. And of course, collisions are on. Control D. Move this out. 34. Yeah. Cool. We got it anchored. Nice. And I'm going to turn cast shadows off on that. Cast shadows. That uses up some computation, and we don't really need the shadow there. It's not going to add anything to the game. All right, let's start scripting now. Let's go to our elevator. The cabin is in the elevator. The buttons are outside of the cabin, but still in the elevator. You're going to add the walls there too, but I'm going to put the script inside the elevator. I'm going to call this elevator system. All right, and then I need some variables. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see it. It might be too big. There we go. We'll say local cabin script.parent.cabin. And then we need our buttons, outside 1 button. That'll be script.parent outside 1 button. We need our outside 2 button, script.parent.outside 2 button, and we need our inside. And that's on the cab. That's in the cabin, right? There we go, inside button. Let's see, we need a left door. That's in the cabin. We need a right door in the cabin. We need a C frame for our start position of the cabin. So I'm going to call this level 1 CF, right? Cabin. Now we need our primary part of the cabin. Ooh, we don't have one. We didn't set one. Let's look at the cabin. Select that. Go to primary part. And then let's hit the floor. There's the floor. Yeah, that makes a good primary part. All right, now we can get that C frame. So we'll say C frame. And then level 2 C frame, cabin, primary part, C frame plus vector 3 new 0, 25, and 0. So we're going to get where it's currently at, and then we're just going to add 25 to the y, right? So that vector 3 is 3 values, x, y, and z in this case. Let's get a tween service for moving stuff. Game get service, tween service. Let's get some tween info for our door. We'll say tween info, new. And I'll make the time 2 seconds. That's how long it takes to do the tween. We'll get this enum easing style bounce. So that's going to make the doors bounce in the tween, and we'll make it at the end of the tween by going easing direction dot out. That IntelliSense makes it kind of tough to see stuff. Let's move this. Let's go to the next line here. Actually, let's move that here. We're all done. We don't need reverses and stuff because we're going to use a debounce, so you're not going to be able to reverse. All right, so if you get stuck in the door, you're dead. No, you won't. You won't be dead. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get. We need a CFrameValue. I'm just going to call that CF, and this is going to hold the current C-frame. We're not going to actually do the tween on the cabin, but we're going to do the tween on a CFrameValue and then update the cabin's position based on the movement of the CFrameValue. It's a little trick for moving models, right? And then we're going to need a flag for busy, right? That's our debounce. And we're going to need current position is going to be the floor you're on, that you're currently on, right? So I didn't go with the true false for up and down in case you want to expand the elevator out to more than one floor. Let's see, let's do a local function. Let's make our door function, our open and close. We'll just call it doors. And this is going to be the direction we're moving in, right? We're going to do a little wait. And I'll do a right tween. That's the right doors tween. We'll say TS for tween service, create a tween on the right door using the door TI, the door tween info. We're going to make the goal a position change. Let's go put space there. And that's going to be the right door dot position plus right door C-frame right vector. And that's a unit vector of length 1, so we'll multiply that by 3. Let's move this to the next line. I'll move it here. All right, so basically what we're doing, we're going to say the goal position, we're going to take the current position, and then we're going to get the right vector of the door, and then which is of length 1 because it's a unit vector, multiply it by 3, and then add it to the current position. But there's one little caveat. The right vector, our right door is actually on the elevator's left. It's right as we're looking at it. So we need to change that sign to make it go the other way. There is no left vector. There's only a negative right. Cool. Now let's go ahead and get the left vector, or the left tween for the left door. There is no left vector, right? There we go. Let's make this the left door. Let's make this position off the left door position. We'll make that left door C-frame right vector. And this time the right vector is actually going in the position we want it. Cool. Now here's the thing. If we want to open the door, that'll be great. If we want to close the door, we need to make it negative. We need to change the direction. That's where this comes in. We're going to multiply either a -1 or a +1. So 1 will be door open, -1 will be door closed. So this will change the sign of the direction, right? And if you built it just like like I did with the doors facing you, the front facing you, you don't have to understand this. But if you're using your own model, you're gonna have to try and figure that out, right? Or change your doors. All right, so we'll play our left tween, we'll play our right tween, and then we want to wait. We only have to wait on one though, because they're firing at the same time with the same length. So we'll do a completed wait for, let's say, the left tween. And then we'll just pause just for a slight second, just in case we have to catch up with anything, just in case it wasn't exactly the same. All right, let's test this before we move on. So let's say wait 7 seconds before we need to get into the game. We'll do a doors, 1 is open. We'll wait 1 second, and then we'll close the doors. Doors, -1 is closed, right? So that direction there, whether it's positive or negative, is going to move the doors in opposite directions. Let's hit play. You take a look. Should have made it 5 seconds. There we go. It opens up. And it closes. So if your doors move front and back or different directions, look to see where the front of your part is. The front should be this part right here. All right, cool beans. Let's make that elevator go up and down. All right, so I don't need this wait. I am going to leave that doors there because I want to start with the doors open. And now I'm going to add a function to move my elevator. Let's get rid of that white space there. Let's say local function move elevator, and then we're going to send in the destination C-frame. All right, so this is going to be for up and down, just like our doors. We're telling it the direction to go. We need to set a busy flag. All right, so we'll say busy is true. We define that up above. Doors, so we're going to move, so the doors will close, -1. Then we'll just wait a second for effect. We'll do the CF, that's the C-frame value. We'll set the value to the cabin's get primary part C-frame, right? So the current C-frame of the cabin. Now we'll say CF, this is going to be a colon, get property changed signal on the CF, on the C-frame. So whenever the value changes, we're going to connect to this anonymous function that's going to move the cabin by setting the primary part C-frame of the cabin to the CF value as it changes. That's pretty tricky, I know that. But if you don't really have to understand that to make that work. It would be good to understand it. But let's make another tween info, and I'll just define that one there. This one here, I'm just going to give it a time of 4 seconds. That's how long it's going to take to move between floors. And let's go and make our tween. Right, so tween service create CF we're going to tween on the C-frame. TI is a tween info. Our goal is going to be the value of the C-frame value, dest C-frame, that we passed in right there. Sweet. Let's play it. Tween play. Doors will now open. Oh, let's wait till it completes before we open the doors so we don't fall out. So we'll say tween dot completed wait. Then the doors will open. I'll say busy equals false. All right. Now all we have to do is hook up our buttons. Let's see what our buttons are up here. So let's add the click detectors right to our buttons. Click detector, that will save us some script down below because the little part isn't really the button. It's actually the click detector, right? Yeah, there we go. So we have our outside one, outside two, and inside button we got to set up. They're pretty easy. And they're pretty similar too. So we'll say outside one button, mouse click, connect to this anonymous function. Player will get passed in, but we won't use it. If not busy, then if current position, remember that's where the elevator is 2. And this is the button 1. So this is the first story. We need to move our elevator. So we'll say move elevator. level 1 C-frame, and then we'll set our current position after that's done to 1. And that's all we need to do for that button. We're just going to call it if it's not there. Otherwise, we're just going to skip right out. Let's go ahead and copy this. And then we'll say outside 2 button. Well, if the current position is at 1, we have to move it to 2. And then we'll set our current position to 2. Cool. And then we'll copy this again in case I lost it. Paste. This is going to be the inside button. There we go, inside button. All right, we can start at current position 2. If we're current position 2, we're going to go down to 1. We'll set it. That's great. That looks perfect the way it's at. But else, and if you have a multi-floor elevator, you're going to have to do else ifs, right? Move elevator, we'll say to level 2, and the current position will be 1. So this is going to, or not 1, 2. Current position will be 2. So this is going to move the elevator up and down based on where it's at. Let's do it. I think we're good. I think we're good. And make sure nothing fell down. Good. Doors are open. We're going to go in. There's no music, but it's okay. Elevators still work. You can add music. Music's easy. A little bit of jitter, not bad. Cool. Look at that. Even has a little hole for your cell phone to fall down, just like in real life. All right, let's go ahead and call it. Looking good. Yeah. All right. I'm liking it. So good luck with that. And I'll put some hints in the description in case you have any problems. I think the doors opening wrong might be common for people. And what else? Oh, the set primary part C-frame. I bet that's going to get a lot of people too. So I will see you in the next video. Good luck with this one.